River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
All right, everybody. Welcome to a Friday episode of Niner Nuts. Feels like it's been a minute since we've done one of these. I know we only missed one, or we've missed two in a month, but we did one 2 weeks ago. But anyway, we are here, Indiana Dan, here with the boys, Jimmy B and Easy E. How are we doing, guys?
I'm doing awesome.
Doing good.
Fantastic. I'm glad we're all doing good. And hello to your daughter too. I see there still.
Yeah,
but
she's not doing a very good job of being hidden, but she's fine.
Yeah, she's fine. Hey, welcome to the show. Anyway, guys, as we always do on Fridays, we're going to talk about our upcoming game against the Dolphins on the back end of this, but here on the front end, we always do a parlay, and I have it set up right here in all of its glory. I'll zoom in a little bit to help you all see it. But we will break down and have a little bit of a preview for each of these games as well that we talk about. We're not talking about every game this weekend. But to kick off the parlay, Joe Burrow over 225 passing yards, minus 500. Everybody believes it, and so do we. Because he does that almost every damn week. He's probably going to end the year with the most passing yards, passing attempts probably too, passing touchdowns. He might have the trifecta of passing along with Joe Burrow having the triple crown of receiving. So over 225.
You mean Jamar Chase?
Yeah, Jamar Chase, not Joe. But so yeah, Joe, as long as the line is at 225, like that's a safe bet. It's been a safe bet pretty much every damn week. And hosting the Bengals they are hosting the Browns. Can't talk today. They're hosting the Browns, and they're starting DTR. My other boy, Jameis Winston. It was fun to watch him while we could, but it's the DTR show now. So yeah, the Browns have lost their luster on defense, and just probably one of the safer bets we have on our ticket this week. What do you guys think about this game and this bet or this pick?
I mean, I think it's one of the most consistent things that's happened this season is Joe Burrow, passing 225 or more every single game, and they're at home against the Browns. And while the Browns have a good defense, I think Joe plus 225 is pretty much a given.
Yeah, he's thrown for over 225 in every game but 3 this season. Unfortunately, one of those was against Cleveland the last time that they played him, but that was in Cleveland. So we'll see. He was kind of going through a little mini slump there at the time when that occurred. So
he's in Cleveland, he always plays bad. I don't know what it is about being in Cleveland, but being at home should help that.
Yeah. So, but he's been on fire for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. And he leads the league in passing by 200 plus yards. So, this seems like it would be a pretty sure thing in our plan and quest of creating a parlay out of pretty sure things that should hit. This is one of those things that should be pretty solid.
Absolutely. And the Bengals, we'll see about those wild card chances. Probably not going to change that, but the battle for Ohio should be entertaining. And Joe Burrow, obviously, he's going to crush that because he and Jamar Chase are they're going down swinging if nothing else. So onward to the next game, the Vikings are going to Seattle. The Vikings are trying to take the number 1 seed away from the Detroit Lions, who seem possibly ripe for the picking, and the Vikings are definitely more healthy. We'll just put it that way. Unlike the Seattle Seahawks are very cold right now. They just got their tails handed to them by the Green Bay Packers at home. So being at home, it's not an easier task going against the Vikings after the way Green Bay just spanked them. So Sam Darnold getting 200 passing yards. Sam Darnold, if the rules were different, he would still be in the running for comeback player of the year. 200 passing yards against Seattle. Their secondary is scary on paper, but they just, I don't know. The floor has fallen out for Seattle. I don't see them getting out of this game. I don't know. If we were, I don't even know what the spread was. Was the spread over 6? It should be.
I'll look it up for you.
It should have. It should be over 6 if it's not. But
For this game, I think it's like 3.
that's shocking. I know Minnesota is a little fakey, but
Yeah, 3.
that should be higher. They should Seattle by more than a touchdown, frankly.
Well, I'll be rooting for Seattle in this game just because Vikings loss is good for the Eagles.
Very true.
So like I'll be rooting for Seattle, but 200 plus passing yards for the Vikings, or for Sam Darnold, I think is a pretty good bet.
He's going to be on the field so much because either Geno, I don't care that he wasn't on the injury report. He is playing a little hurt because he tweaked his knee against Green Bay. So I think Sam Darnold's just going to be on the field enough to hit 200 yards just by the virtue of Minnesota is going to be a nightmare for Geno. And then that's my thoughts on the game.
Yeah, Darnold's hit 200 yards in every game but 2 this season. He didn't throw over 200 against Houston and against the Jets, but he still won both of those games for whatever that's worth. Otherwise, he's thrown over 200 yards in every single game this season. Again, I feel like this is pretty much like the Joe Burrow bet. It's a very logical, very sound, very likely bet to hit. And then when you combine it with all the others, gives us a pretty good shot. So, feels pretty good. So see what happens.
Absolutely. I don't know which games I'm going to be watching. Like, I'm just thinking about, I'll just have to see these games are more exciting than last week. So, so that's good. The next one, damn, I kind of wish this was at the end, but it's fine. I really, I'll take the credit for spearheading this one. It's the Giants at the Falcons. And I badgered both of you into having this on the ticket because I got so obsessed with following this whole Kirk Cousins saga that's been going on for the last 5 weeks. His quarterback rating is terrible. His touchdown to interception ratio after this 5th game was literally 1-9. And they were a Hail Mary away from losing to the Raiders. Like, I don't care that it was in Vegas. They are a 2-win team. And if Desmond Ridder hit that Hail Mary, they would have lost by 1 point. This Falcons team is no longer like, I think we can lift the blackball status on the Falcons. And at first it was the Giants at 10. That's what the line was the Giants are 10-point underdogs. And I already was saying, take it. They're not going to lose by 10. This is going to be way more competitive than anybody thinks it's going to be. And now Kirk Cousins is benched for Desmond Ridder. So
not Desmond Ridder, Michael Penix Jr.
Michael Penix, thank you. So Michael Penix, his first game ever against a Giants defense that low-key is not bad. I don't care that he's at home. It's a defense that's actually like decent. And it's his first game as a starter, and it dropped it from +10 to +8.5. That didn't deter me. Still threw it on the ticket. The Giants will make this like a 3 or no, the Giants are going to only lose by 6 or less. This game will be a lot closer than this line. And I stand by that. And I badgered you guys to put this on the ticket. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm following your lead, but yeah, I can definitely see a world where the Falcons do not cover 8.5, given the fact that it's Michael Penix Jr.'s first game. The Falcons really don't look like they can do very much on offense, anyway. And I don't think Michael Penix is going to do so well that he crushes the Giants by, 9 points or whatever. So I think this definitely taking the 8.5 Giants at the Falcons, I think is a good bet.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, the Falcons have just gone into this crazy tailspin over the last like 5-6 weeks, and
That's putting it mildly.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's all seems to be very Kirk Cousins related, and I mean, I don't think to both of your points, I don't think just putting in Michael Penix is going to really change that completely around and all of a sudden make them so much better. I mean, it's very rare that a rookie quarterback comes in and is a superstar and stellar right off the bat, especially when they're playing a team that does have a pretty decent defense, as the Giants have shown all season long. They're not going to want to get embarrassed by a rookie quarterback making his first start. So they're going to have some fight in them, even though they know that their season is over. So I would anticipate this game being a lot closer than the 8.5 points as well.
And just for full disclosure, I definitely got in a bet when it was still at 10 because I did not want that to pass. And I did that before the Michael Penix announcement. So that's why I texted you guys. I think it may have been in all caps, like, Penix is going in. Get the bet now. But anyway, on to our next after I get our banner up because I'm terrible at putting that up on time. The next game is involving the Lions. Are they going? It's not on the picture there. Are they going to? Yes, they are going to Chicago for a division rivalry game. I mean, covering 6.5. I'm shocked this is at 6.5. This isn't even an alternate, right? This just. Mm-mm. I'm aware, and I've brought up many times that the defense in Detroit has gone through the most cataclysmic injury bug spree I've seen probably in the 10, 11, or the 12 years I've been like really actively watching the NFL, like for fantasy or whatnot. I've never seen a team get this injured except maybe our 2020 Niners. Like, this is absurd. That said, though, this is how bad the Bears are right now that I'm still completely cool with a 6.5 point spread with the Lions, just because that offense is just going to steamroll the Bears. Because even with, maybe the Bears end up scoring 21 points or 24 points, they get one kick in there, the Lions are still going to obliterate them on offense because that defense, Chicago's defense, will have no answers for them because they're still fine even without David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs will still take the lion's share, no pun intended, and then whoever the new backup is will be the new Knuckles. They're gonna be just fine. The Lions will cover the spread easy. I'm pretty confident.
Well, so I was a little hesitant doing this when you guys convinced me, but I mean, the last time these two played was on Thanksgiving, and if it wasn't for Eberflus holding on to his $4,000 timeout, we might, the Lions might be 11-3 right now instead of 12-2. So, I mean, this game could be closer than maybe what we expect. Should the Lions win by more than 6.5? They should. Are they, being that it's in Chicago and, Chicago with an incompetent coach, was able to play them tough enough to, where they should have won the game. But yeah, I'm this is the one that concerns me, I think, most on the ticket. But I mean, if we're just saying like it should happen, it should. Am I going to be a little bit worried about this one on the ticket? I think I am.
Yeah, I see your point, Jimmy. For me, though, there's just been such a drastic drop off in the Bears' play since Eberflus was fired, which is very strange to me because I really thought that he was the real problem and a big reason why the Bears were sucking. And it turns out that maybe he wasn't the entire problem because the Bears have actually been way more dreadful the last 2 weeks than they were prior to that. I mean, if you look back at the schedule, they played the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions, and they played them all to 1-score games, all within 1 to 3 points. Then they fire Eberflus and they come out and they get walloped by the 49ers, who, let's be honest, just aren't at the top tier this season. And then they get walloped by the Vikings in a game. So, I mean, it's been strange to see, but the Bears just seem to be on this complete downward trend now. And that's what made me have the confidence in taking this particular bet, is that they just don't seem to be able to get anything going and to be able to get out of their own way. And with the way that the Lions can score and put up points, I feel like they're just not going to be able to keep up with them, and the Lions will be ahead of them by, 10, 14 points.
I think this is, I agree with you. Like that is a fair point about that Thanksgiving almost debacle for Detroit, but no, the Bears have just, I think even if they like this coach, that they've just given up. I think that's what's going on with Chicago. Like, I'm not reading too deeply into, like, if people think that Caleb is the problem, like, entirely, like, I feel bad for the kid getting drafted by Chicago because I held out hope that this was like they were going to steer the ship the right way, but young quarterbacks, their careers don't even get off the ground to the same degree that, like, there's a joke that wide receivers go to Chicago to retire. Like, it's just, I just feel so bad for the kid. Like, even that very first game against us, I talked to my mom, who's a diehard Bears fan like my dad, and I told her, like, I've seen interim coaches, like, sometimes get better, sometimes maybe, like, a little worse, but good God, not like this worse. Like, it looks like they're not even trying, and that's what's really sad.
Yeah.
So 6.5 points should be good. The part of me that wants my dad's team to, like, still salvage, like, a little dignity. I hope it's not that bad, but
not this week.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a colossal ass whooping like it was against the Vikings, even being in Chicago. So onward to our next game. It is our game. San Francisco host. We're going to. I thought we were hosting Miami for some reason, but no, we're going. We're going to.
Do you want to come back to this one, Dan? We can do that last and then just roll into a preview.
Yeah, might as well. That's smart thinking. So ignore that, viewers and listeners. We're going to go to James's game that he's looking the most forward to.
Yeah.
The Eagles are going to DC, our nation's capital, to face the Commanders in a pretty important match, especially like for everybody involved in this game. The Commanders need this win to keep themselves in the wild card race. Like, it doesn't completely destroy their chances at the wild card if they lose, but the Eagles, they, as desperately as the Vikings, want to get the number 1 seed from the Lions. And for our purpose of this ticket, Hurts passing touchdown, Hurts anytime touchdown. You've told us to do this every week for like 3 or 2 months, and it's basically hit every time. So we're rolling with it again, and personally, I think you guys are going to be fine. Like, maybe it ends up being a 1-score game. Like, the Commanders end up making it a close game. That would not surprise me. But, I mean, at the end of the day, no matter, like, how the game goes, I think you guys are going to be on top. I think you guys are just, I said it before, you guys are clicking at the right time. You guys really do look like the best team in the NFC, and you've managed to not be as hit by the injury bug. You basically are, like, one of the healthiest teams in the NFC and playing like one of the best teams in the NFC.
Well, yeah, and like, I'm even so bold. I know you guys didn't want to take it, but I was even so bold to say take the Commanders scoring 0 points in the second half, because
Nope.
yeah, I know you guys don't want to take it, but like, if you look at some of the recent games, like, they have pretty much shut out their competition in the second half, or they get to, the competition gets right around, 13 points, and they seem to be in the game. And then the next thing you know, the defense shuts them down for the rest of the game. And, the Eagles just have to, do a 10-minute and 30-minute drive to win the game. And
This
so,
kid's thrown 2 Hail Marys. No, he didn't win both times, but I've seen this kid throw 2 Hail Marys in the fourth quarter. That alone makes me not want to do that for this kid.
yeah, I feel confident. Like the way the Eagles have shown up in big game after big game after big game this whole season.
Yeah.
Everybody that's come to them that is supposed to be a test, that's supposed to like, come in and give them a good, shellacking or and make it a good game, hasn't. They just haven't, and they've just gone out there consistently and taken down good teams one week after the other. And part of that is because of the defense shutting people down in the second half. And I know they probably haven't shut out every team in the second half, but they've been doing a pretty good job of keeping people from scoring in the second half. And I just feel for like this game, they're going to be able to like when the second, like, I think, the commies are, we're going to start out. They may have the lead early in the game, but then the defense is just going to be like, nope, no more. You're not scoring any more points. And the Eagles are just going to come back and beat the snot out of them. So yeah, I mean, my personal bet, on this, but every week we've said we do this, and pretty much every week it's hit. Hurts passing touchdown, anytime TD score, usually a rush and a pass every single game. For most of the season, this has happened. So we're just going to keep riding this one.
Yeah. So 2 things. One, the Hurts TD combo has hit 7 out of the last 9 weeks. So again, a very safe, confident bet that seems like it should hit. And then 2, Jimmy, you want to do a little side bet? $5. I take the Commanders score in the second half. $5. You take Eagles shut them out in the second half.
Let's see, $5.
You can have that one. That'd be awkward for me to be a third wheel on it, but no, please. I'm part of me, James, really wants you to do this, but I'm not gonna make you.
I'm confident in it, but what are the odds for it? Like, what are the odds?
Well, we were just doing straight up. We were just doing
straight up. You got to give me odds because I wanted the odds with the ticket. Find the odds and give me.
Right, leave it to Jimmy to. Again, I feel like I said this like 2 weeks ago. I'm the one that looks at the money lines. Eric, you find like the interesting over-unders for like receiving, rushing, whatnot. Jimmy is the one that comes in just like, oh, what about a shutout? Or what about lead the first quarter? It's like, what? How deep in the bowels of DraftKings are we going here? It's so I mean that in the nicest way possible.
I know. I come up with the
bets you come up with are hysterical. You really go into the weeds on it, and it just cracks me up. Okay, so we did have just this one last game. Eric, I do want I'm trying to give you a little bit more time if you can find that.
There's a shutout for the first half, but not a shutout for the second half.
So give me 2-1. Give me 2-1. If I win, I get 10. If you win, you get 5.
Oh, sure, that's fine because you're not going to win. That's fine.
Okay. All right. 2-1.
That's fine.
Jimmy, again, my warning to you. This kid has thrown 2 Hail Mary touchdowns when someone's lucky to do that once in their career, not named Aaron Rodgers.
But this is the Eagles. This is
virtual handshake.
Yeah, shake hands.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, but
the bet has been made. Dan is our witness.
This is the Eagles D. This is the Eagles D in a big game. This is not a trap game. This is for the division. They play big when the stakes are big, and I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it 0 points for the commies in the second half.
All right, I just looked up how many garbage time points that your team has given up in the second half.
What was? Oh, damn it! What was I gonna say?
The last,
yeah,
you kept the last like garbage time thing that happened was, the Ravens. That was the last garbage time. The Carolina game, like, okay, I knew the Eagles weren't going to take them very seriously, and that was going to end up probably being a game.
That was a trap.
I'm telling you right now, big game, big defensive performance. You watch, no points in the second half.
That's fine. We'll see. Now I have a reason to watch this game.
Yeah, you did keep this. That was incredibly impressive. giving the Steelers the ball back only twice in the second half. Because I just watched Hard Knocks, and I remember, I don't know what coach, but one coach said to Russell Wilson, I've literally never been in a game where our offense only got the ball twice in the second half.
Yeah.
So it even stunned them. I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
But we need to go onward too. Speaking of Hard Knocks in the AFC North, the other AFC North rivalry game is in our ticket as well. The Steelers at the Ravens. This game is an awesome game pretty much every single time. I will very much want to split the screen between this and our game at 4:30. Because this decides the North, basically. Like, if anyone's not paying attention, this game will essentially decide the AFC North. The Steelers, I don't think the Steelers actually like lock it for good in this game, but it essentially does. And then the Ravens, if they upset, it's gonna go over the next 2 weeks. It'll be decided in week 18 for sure. But with that narrative aside, what we're throwing on our ticket in here, Derrick Henry rushing over 60 yards and Lamar Jackson having 25 rushing yards. He's not quite as rush heavy, personally, I've noticed, but against the Steelers, him having like a jailbreak, like 40-yard rush and then run out of bounds, or just a handful of scrambles here and there, I am incredibly confident on this. And I didn't push to add a Derrick Henry touchdown on this because I'm comfortable with him hitting 60. He's right behind Saquon for the rushing title. I mean, he's not going to catch him, but 60 yards is a good bet, and he's not found the end zone a lot. So that's why I didn't push for putting a touchdown on there, because that's failed like 3 of the last 4 weeks, it seems like. What do you guys think on this game?
I mean, this seems like it, definitely could happen. I mean, the Steelers, the Eagles didn't really run the ball a whole lot last week, and Saquon Barkley still pulled off 65 yards, on very minimal carries. It was mostly a passing game for the Eagles, but they did find some time to give it to, Saquon for 65. And I believe Kenny Gainwell probably had like another 20 or 30 yards rushing too. So with the way the Ravens depend on, Derrick Henry for their offense, I think 60 is a good call. And then Lamar, 25, just his scrambling ability alone, he can get that in one run. So,
yeah, Derrick Henry has hit 60 yards in every game but the first game of the season where he played Kansas City. He only had 46. He's hit at least 60 yards in every other game this season. So, again, seems like it should be a pretty sure bet. Be pretty confident that he's going to get it. And the last time that they played Pittsburgh, he had 65 yards on 13 carries, so 5 yards a carry and a touchdown. So hopefully he's able to replicate that again. To your point, Dan, this is actually a must-win game for the Ravens. If they don't win this game, Pittsburgh wins the AFC North, because then the Ravens can't catch them.
Okay, I didn't know if it actually was a hat and shirt game for the Steelers. I thought it wasn't for some reason, but
yeah, because the Steelers have a 1-game lead on them, so they would go up 2 games and have the tiebreaker, so they wouldn't be able to catch them.
And there's only 2 weeks left of the season. That makes sense. Okay.
Yep. So it's a super critical game in the AFC for both those teams. Obviously, Steelers want to win, wrap up the division, secure that. Position themselves for the 3/4 seed. Baltimore would love to be able to leapfrog and get out of the wild card spot, but we'll see what happens.
Let's be real. It's gonna be 3. They're better than Houston. It's gonna be 3.
Yeah, I would think so. But and to the other half of that bet, I mean, Lamar Jackson scrambling for 25 yards. I mean, I think just the way that Pittsburgh applies pressure and gets to the quarterback, Watt is going to play. So, I mean, I think there's just going to be opportunities for Jackson to just scramble around. And by nature, I think he'll easily pick up 25 yards doing that.
He's not rushing for 1,000 yards this year, but because it's seemingly more pass heavy for him. Like, they don't want him to scramble unless it's an emergency, but it's always liable to happen and it's more likely than not that they will have a spectacular. He still has the ability, whether they're asking him to or not. Like, I can see it like they send the house on one play and then he just skirts up the middle and goes for like 30 yards, and in one play we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, to the point of that, he has rushed for 25 yards in all but 2 games this season. So, I mean, again, there you go.
There we go. I was going to say this would be a good segue to us talking about our game, the Niners and the Dolphins. This is the last game on our ticket. We, well, for the purposes of this, before we really deep dive into it, Brock Purdy, 200 passing yards, George Kittle, 50 receiving yards. Eric, you and I have been championing that George Kittle at least 50 or 40, sometimes 60, depending on the game. He's been the only consistent receiver that we've had in this very bizarre year because Debo can't catch. Ricky is a rookie and he only gets targeted maybe 2 or 3 times a game. Brandon's out. Can't use CMC out of the backfield. So, I don't know. I would be more iffy on Purdy even hitting 200 yards, but Isaac Guerrero is probably not going to play in this game. So now we're on our 5th running back in. I don't even know who the hell is going to be our running back if who's our starting running back if Isaac's
Surprise!
out.
It's me.
I think it's that kid Taylor.
They're gonna call He Hate Me. They're gonna call He Hate Me out of retirement.
Yes.
Bring him in.
But once I saw that this morning, actually, like we're gonna have to throw the crap out of the ball because we have no running game anymore.
Yeah.
So 200 from Brock, 50 from Kittle. What do you guys think about this? Before I was going to shrink this once we get more into it, but what do you guys think about both of like just this on the ticket?
Well, I believe with the way Miami's playing, and that 200 plus passing yards and 50 from receiving from Kittle is it's going to hit like just because Miami now is. I don't know. They lost the last 3.
It's December. That's all it is. It's December.
So they're known to fold in December. And so, 200 plus passing yards for Purdy, 50 plus for Kittle. Seems like a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, I mean, anytime there's not weather, Purdy throws for over 200 yards easily. So, I mean, the only times that he hasn't thrown for over 200 was he threw for 159 in Seattle, which I think that game there was weather. He threw for 94 in Buffalo, and he threw for 142 in LA, or against LA. So, I mean, those are the only times that he's thrown for under 200 yards the entire season. So, as long as it doesn't rain in Miami, which seems unlikely, he's going to throw for 200 yards. It should be a guarantee. So, to your point, Dan, without any sort of a running game to fall back on, I see them slinging the ball around a lot. Miami is going to come out. They're still fighting for their playoff lives. They're going to come out and try to do their thing. And they do have a fast-paced and explosive offense. And if they can get things going, the Niners are going to have to throw a lot to keep up. And so I think this is a pretty easy bet. And then if he is throwing the ball that much, the person he's going to throw it to is going to be Kittle. I would assume Juwan is going to be covered by Ramsey on the outside because I wouldn't waste Ramsey on Debo because I could cover Debo and he wouldn't catch the ball. So, why waste my best corner on Debo? So I'm going to put him on Juwan. No offense to Juwan, but he's probably not going to get open and do a whole lot versus Ramsey. So in that particular instance, then you've, got to look at what your other options are. Well, to me, the only other option left is Kittle. And so him getting 50 yards seems pretty natural. So overall, I think we've got a lot of, when you pick these things on the ticket, they're all fairly crappy odds, to be honest. I mean, they're all like, minus 300, minus 400. I mean, they're all fairly sure bets. I mean, Vegas isn't giving you very much money on them individually, but it's our hope that by packaging them together, like we did a bunch of what should be confident bets that we can hit. And I feel like we've really done a pretty good job this week.
I think so. And like you said, stacking them together is the better thing to do. Because like this late into the season, Vegas just assumes the bad is bad and the good is good. And the odds are terrible on an individual level.
Yeah,
Oh, we
Oh,
lost Jimmy.
that's all right. Yeah, I mean, like if you took the 49ers bet just at face value, if you took Purdy at 200 and Kittle at 50, I mean, your odds on that are just trash because, it's such a easy, projected to be easy bet. You wouldn't really get anything out of it. So, I mean, if I look at that right now, yeah, Purdy is minus 370. And then Kittle is, we did 50. He's minus 205. So even if you combine those two together, it's still minus 155. So, I mean, you're really not making anything. So,
Yeah. But again, like I had in the disclaimer, gamble responsibly. Make sure you can gamble in your state legally. It's so funny at that wedding I was at in Illinois, and I opened DraftKings.
hey, he's back.
I opened DraftKings, and I had that moment of like, oh wait, can I use this app when I'm in Illinois? Oh no.
I did the same thing when I was at the undisclosed location.
Oh yeah, no,
there were a lot more rules about it where I was, and it was just like, this is too hard. I just know that I can't bet. This sucks.
I didn't try. I just wanted to look at odds, but then when I saw a couple things change, and I had to like hit a couple I had to do a couple verification things. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm in another state. I forgot. Like,
yeah.
But anyway, onward to more of our game from a not quite gambling perspective. I
do want to mention that Debo said on a podcast this week that AJ Brown and Smitty are the best receiving duo in the league. So just want to say shout out Debo.
Well,
now are you on the Eagles bandwagon yet? Are you going to want to come to town?
Honestly, I can't disagree. And he's definitely probably keeping that in the back of his mind that he might be going somewhere else. We have a lot of questions we're going to answer this offseason. But honestly, I'm not sure where to start with this for the couple minutes we have to talk about it. Like, we're in Miami, so it's warm weather. It says there that it's going to be 70 degrees. It's going to be perfect, like condition wise. And I don't know. I don't want to just chalk this game up to we're going to blow out Miami because like just something's wrong with Miami this year too. Like their offense their ceiling is really high, but just Tyreek Hill is going to be lucky to hit 1,000, or did he hit 1,000 yards? Does it say there? Yeah, he's going to be lucky to hit 1,000 yards this season. Achan's good, but just everybody, like they have a lot of good players, but just no one's hitting their ceiling right now. Even with Tua, Tua came crashing down to earth with 4 turnovers last week. So maybe being at home, they'll be a little more competitive. I don't know. I don't blame Vegas for putting this in a 1-point game because there's plenty of issues with both sides of the ball. I was watching someone else talk about this game before, and Miami's offensive line is really banged up. Our offensive line is banged up. The Dolphins have a lot of great receivers and running backs, and they're still a losing record. We have a lot of injuries, at least, that we can blame for that, but still Purdy's going out there and just trying to do his best. And honestly, you've been asking him to make chicken soup out of chicken crap. So, I mean, it's amazing he doesn't have more picks, really. But like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling. I don't know what to really think of this game.
And even though Miami's going to have home field advantage, they're not going to be able to take full advantage. Full advantage of the home field advantage in their stadium because it's going to be 4:25. It's like an hour before the sun goes down, so the 49ers won't have the sun beating down on them, in the Florida heat and stuff like that. So
that is true. That is a real problem the away team has there. I forgot that. Yeah. So, the 49ers should, be able to compete pretty decently in this game, if not come out with a win. The only problem is the running game, they're not really probably going to be able to do anything in the run. So they're just going to have to sort of depend on the passing game. And
in this aspect. So
Yeah, like on defense, I think we're going to be fine. Dre, yeah, we'll still be on a pitch count, but Hufanga's still out there. Our secondary. I was looking it up when we were texting about your defense. Like we somehow have the second best secondary in the league in terms of yards per game, and our secondary is going to be fine. Between Green, Ward, Hufanga, and Mustafa is coming back, so I think Mustafa is going to be out there with Huff, which will be good. But I don't know, like even though we don't sack the quarterback like we assume we should, like I don't know, we'll probably still limit Tua, but what are we going to do in response? Because we're not going to have a running game. We're not going to give Debo the ball more than 3 times, especially when he only takes 3 carries for 2 yards again. Like this is going to be I just have this unwavering feeling that this is going to be a very slow, very, very, very sloppy game. And I'm not really like, yeah, I'm going to watch it, but like, I'm not like looking forward to it. I'm just terrified that this game's going to be awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Dan, you are right. There's a lot of potential for this game to be awful. I do think actually Debo is going to get more carries just by the nature of attrition. I mean, there's just nobody left. So
yeah,
I
we're on
mean,
our 5th string running back.
yeah. So I mean, I think that's Debo. I mean, so I think, whoever the guy is that's actually going to be the running back, I think that Debo is probably going to get. I mean, I won't be surprised if he gets 6 or 7 carries in this game, especially, if he does crap with the first like 2 or 3 that he gets, then probably you're right, Dan, he won't get any more. But if he at least does something with the first 2 or 3 that he gets, I bet he gets 3 or 4 more. So I think he's going to end up with like 7 carries in this game personally, just because they don't have any other options and they're going to need to be able to run the ball. So I think that they're going to try that. But I think that this game has a chance to be rather ugly for both sides. I mean, the Miami Dolphins offense has been very erratic and sporadic for the last few weeks. It hasn't been gelling and moving like it's supposed to. That being said, the 49ers passing game can be pretty deadly when they get it all going. And as long as there's no weather, Brock usually functions pretty well. Now, I was looking up the Dolphins' defensive statistics while you guys were talking, and they kind of sit in about like the top 12-ish in most of the defensive statistics. So their defense isn't bad. But, I feel like Kittle should be able to exploit the middle of that defense. If Ramsey doesn't follow Juwan everywhere, then I feel like Juwan should be able to get open against whoever their other corner is.
Well, do they play man or do they play zone? I don't know Miami that intimately. Like that'll just depend on what they play more. If it's zone, then Juwan can beat it. But if it's man, that's gonna be a lot harder.
Well, we struggle against man coverage just in general. I mean, that's one of the things that Kyle is really going to have to work on this next offseason as a whole. I mean, his offensive scheme and design and everything is set to really break zone. It's set to destroy cover 2 and cover 3. And when you have teams that play man instead of zone, our offense struggles as a whole against those man defenses. So we'll just have to see. I'm not sure what Miami plays more of. I haven't watched enough of them this season to know. But we'll see how it shakes out. I feel like the 49ers are going to win this game. I feel like the Dolphins collapse is in full swing right now. Their typical December swoon is happening. I think it'll still be a close game. I don't think that the 49ers, I would be really stunned if the 49ers blew them out. But I think the 49ers can beat them by, a solid maybe touchdown. I think they can beat them by that. Just because I think that the Dolphins are just going to fall apart like they just continue to do every December.
Well, if our secondary can give Tua as much of a headache as Houston did, I'll add, I can't remember what Miami's defense did to Stroud, but Stroud's having his own issues too, but they're still going to the playoffs and Tua's not. But
yeah,
but no, that secondary wrecked Tua 3 picks, and then he got a strip sack. Like, so as long as we can torture him with our secondary, like we could pull it off by keeping him off the field. And yeah, we actually have good weather this time. So in theory, that means our passing game, and we really need our passing game because, like we've said, we don't have a running game this week.
Yeah, I mean, I would really anticipate that Purdy is going to throw for probably 300 some yards, probably 2+ touchdowns. I would expect Kittle to have 80+ yards receiving.
He should hit the century if they don't stick Ramsey on him like a slot corner.
Yeah. So I mean, I really think that I think that Purdy and Kittle will both have really good games. So calling back to our bet, I mean, I think those numbers will hit very easily, and I think that the Niners defense will give Miami some trouble. I mean, Miami is a quick read, one read kind of offense, and as soon as you make Tua move off of that first read, his QBR and his rating goes down significantly when he has to make his own decisions. And so I think if the 49ers can do that, they'll have a good chance in this game. And we're going to have Bosa back again in this game, and with Greenlaw in there, and our corners continuing to play well, and our safeties playing well. I think we can give them some. I think we can give them some real fits. It's just a matter of not letting like Hill get behind us.
Yeah, remember when I think 2 years ago when Purdy had to come in because Jimmy broke his foot or broke his ankle, whichever injury it was. I think it was breaking his foot. And it was this game that no one counts on his record because he didn't start the game. But this was the first time he played as a pro, and he basically played 3.5 quarters because it was really early. And he just kicked the crap out of Miami. I don't remember what the final score was, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of nice. I want to sit in that little nostalgic moment just for 10 seconds because you're more optimistic.
When 49ers football was good.
He just came out of nowhere, and everybody was like, Mr. Relevant, who the hell is this kid? Like how far we've come since then, and just how bad this season is. Like I'll say you're a little more optimistic than I am. I would love for all that to happen, and there's reason to believe it could, but I don't know. Not quite jaded, but I'm just so worried about this game just being a sloppy hot mess. Like
I mean, it could be, but I just think that overall our passing game is, if we can manage to get Juwan free off of Ramsey every now and then, I think that our passing game is good enough that we can easily keep pace with these. I mean, you saw what we did to Chicago a couple weeks ago, which, I mean, I know it was just Chicago. And then I forget whoever we played after that, but I mean, we're able to put up points still. I mean, it's not a factor that we can't put up points. So, I mean, I don't think that keeping pace with Miami, if it turns even into a shootout, is going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's not a particularly tall task. You know what? It just hit me. We should have asked Trevor if what his 2 cents are on this game. Your friend Jimmy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I have our Patriots insider that we haven't needed since week 4. We should ask Trevor what he thinks about this game.
Our Patriots insider says the Patriots will suck every week.
Oh no, I gave him so much crap after we won that game. even though that's when Brandon popped his knee. So I said, thanks for that, Dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of said my piece on this game. Like, I'm definitely like looking forward to it, so to say, but like not in the sense of like, oh, this is going to be an ass whooping. Like, it's just been that kind of year for us.
Who are the announcers?
Oh, I'll look it up.
Great question. Oh,
I know we went like the whole time without you mentioning what announcers are doing.
Well, I usually save that for the end, and I didn't look it up, but it's CBS. Oh, please be Kevin.
I will tell you.
Kevin Harlan works for CBS.
It is. Oh,
please be Kevin. 503 Sports? 506? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking, trying to find it.
Week 16.
Oh, I'm on the wrong week. That's why. Sorry. Hold on.
Yeah. Click NFL, then week 16.
Yeah, I was on week 15.
because the Tom Brady game of the week is.
Oh, we got Jim Nance and Tony Romo.
What?
Yeah.
Jim Nance and Tony Romo for this game.
This was worthy of the Tony Romo game? Are you kidding me?
Evidently.
Really?
They must not have any other games to give him.
Jeez Louises, hold on. I'm going to change this to see what the... I'm going to change this. What the hell?
Well, I mean, what other game are you going to give him? He's got Rams and Jets, Cleveland and Cincinnati, Tennessee and Indianapolis, New England and Buffalo, or Jacksonville and Las Vegas. So which game are you going to give him?
I'm surprised they didn't get LA and New York just to give him the opportunity to talk about Aaron Rodgers. And the Rams honestly are getting pretty hot right now. So him calling them kicking the crap out of New York. But what's the 4:30 games? If he had to pick between the three of these, like,
I'm surprised he didn't pick Buffalo and New England.
Yeah, seeing Buffalo kick the... Well, you don't want to waste him on a complete ass whooping. So
no
I guess
one's going to watch that.
Pick. Yeah, except Buffalo and Patriots fans.
Patriots fans aren't watching that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Patriots fans are going out Christmas shopping during the game.
I was never going to guess that we were going to get Tony Romo. Like, it is 4:30, and he usually does 4:30, but he's done 1 o'clock a couple times.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I was not expecting us to get that.
Yeah. So we're the national game.
Well, hot diggity damn. Yeah, no, game of the... Or they don't... do they call it... No, game of the week is Fox. What did they just call it? Another CBS game? Like... I don't...
Just another game on CBS for you to watch, people.
Yeah, I don't... CBS late. I don't pay attention to CBS. I watch way more Fox than CBS, even though I like the CBS music more. Well, no. Have you thought about it enough to have a passionate opinion on what your favorite NFL music is?
No, I have not. I couldn't recite which one. I mean, the only one I know is the Monday Night Football theme song.
I've seen reels. We can wrap up after this little tangent.
All I know is like NFL films with John Fucinda. That's the best. Like
I only know the Monday Night Football song from Hank Williams Jr. I don't even know the new one.
But I mean, Eric, come on, you and I grew up with John Fucinda, in NFL films, in like all of that, and just like that is like
I've seen there have been reels with what's your favorite one between CBS, Fox, Sunday Night Football, and Monday night, and my personal ranking would be CBS, Sunday Night Football, Fox, then Monday Night Football.
Wow.
Like the current Monday Night Football music is not bad, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a good tone. I'm not going to do the music.
Give me John Fucinda, with the Purple People Eaters versus the Raiders or something like that. Like just with the music and like the orchestra, like it's a full orchestra. Like so like that's what I like to.
I'm gonna find one of those reels and send it to you while I'm editing this.
All right.
I think now that we're talking about music, or I'm making us talk about music, I think this is a good time for us to talk about our sponsor, RoyalRetros.com. What is Royal Retros? It is your go-to place to get yourself an authentic throwback jersey. Whether you're a basketball fan, baseball fan, a fan of any of the major sports, they got you covered. But for us Bay Area fans, go check out the Candlestick Collection. It's curated for us Bay Area fans, curated with us in mind, like I usually say. When you find something that you like, use the promo code Shady Sports and get 10% off of your order. It's a good discount to have for this Christmas and holiday season. Again, it's promo code Shady Sports, and it'll get you 10% off of your order at RoyalRetros.com. Go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. And speaking of nice shirts for Christmas, Jimmy, we are selling t-shirts still. Tell the people about it.
Yeah, guys, we've been selling t-shirts for Mountain Comprehensive Care Centers to raise funds for their shelters. Basically because there's a lack of accountability with owners in the NFL. If a player gets arrested, we know before kickoff. If an owner gets arrested, we don't hear for it about 3 months until somehow it gets leaked one way or the other. And we know Dan Snyder has a 31 team PowerPoint, with all the dirty stuff. So just release it, Dan. Just, get it all out of the air. Let's get everybody out, get new people in, whatever. Anyway, we've decided to try to raise awareness of how owners are lacking accountability in the NFL by selling T-shirts. And so our first one has our statement on it: owner standards are less than player standards. #owner accountability. $22.99 gets you that in a T-shirt. We have different colors, different sizes, different styles. After that, we have our podcast logo art. You'll find this wherever you see our profile picture for our YouTube page, for Spotify account, or Apple Podcasts. Anywhere you find and listen to us, you will see this logo. You can get it on the T-shirt for $22.99. We have that in different styles, different sizes as well. Next up, we have our alternate logo art. This is a very nice T-shirt. I have it myself. $22.99 gets you that in a T-shirt, or you can have different colors, different sizes, and different styles of that. And last but not least, how can you say no to a peanut sitting on the couch while eating peanuts, cheering on the San Francisco 49ers, the official Niner Nut mascot? $22.99 gets you that in a T-shirt. Donate to Mountain Comprehensive Care Centers today.
Yep. And just to reiterate, the link to our bonfire store is in the show notes, and we are not taking any money from these. It's all going to Mountain Comprehensive Care Center. So get yourself a nice T-shirt for the holidays and help out a family in need. Well, we already said that Tony is calling this game because I know better options after examining it. The only bit of news that I have, other than Thursday Night Football's kicking off in 10 minutes from when we're taping this, or if it didn't already, we have an official suspension or an official punishment for Mr. Devondre Campbell. He was formally suspended for the remaining 3 games of the season. And yeah, can't hear you, but yes. Just again,
he's gonna be like in sync. Bye bye bye.
Yeah, no, just screw that guy. Like I was explaining to my wife like that because we were going through nuances of like, okay, well, was this out of character for him? Was this like, we were going through all that, and I explained to her that like what Kyle and John have established in this culture that we have in the locker room, this is not going to fly. And what he did was disrespectful enough to us, and it boils down to what do we want to do, like compared to what the Ravens are doing with Johnson. Yes, thank you. With Johnson, they are handling it internally. They are saying, "Yo," I actually saw that they said that he's excused from participating with the team from now on if he doesn't want to. So they're handling it their way. This is the way we are handling it, and I am all for someone that betrays the team the way that he did, just being suspended. Like, I have no problem with what he did, especially from hearing before the way that he crap talked Green Bay. This guy's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and that's yeah, you're 30. You're my age, dude. You're 31. Like, you've been around the block before, and you still talk smack like that. Like, I don't know. I don't get it, and I'm glad he's suspended.
Yeah. Yep. Do you want other news?
Sure. Lay it on us.
Mahomes cleared to start versus the Texans.
Of course he is.
Which is unfortunate because that line started off as +2.5 Kansas City, and it's already flipped to -3.5 Kansas City. So should have bet that early on Monday. Saints are going to start the rattlesnake again. However, unfortunately for them, Kamara is likely out, so they're going to get absolutely rocked and rolled by the Packers on Monday.
Unless the clock stops again.
Yeah. Watt's going to play on Saturday, but Pickens is still out, so that's going to make that game really, really hard for the Steelers. And Geno is better, plans to play despite his knee injury.
Gotcha. I'll have to look at my personal ticket. I don't remember. I'll just send you a picture of it if I did or didn't get it before, because I remember seeing that, and I'm like, why are the Chiefs not favorited? Like, this is just insane to me. But yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's not Patrick Mahomes, it's Carson Wentz. I mean, like Carson Wentz is easily like a 4 or 5 point swing in the other direction when you're talking about talking about him taking over at quarterback.
If it wasn't the money line, I think it was the spread that I saw and was just like, oh my God, guys, he's playing. Like, let's cover this spread too. Like before it shifts. And clearly full participant was took that pendulum all the way the other way.
Yep. That's all the news I got.
I mean, Mahomes on a bad ankle, Hurts with a shattered ring finger. Like this is December football.
Amen. Well, I think that's a good place to call this. Again, we are playing at 4:30 on CBS with Tony Romo. So,
and I won't see everybody until after Christmas. So Merry Christmas. I won't be here on the Tuesday show. So Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you have a happy and safe holiday. And so with that said, outro music, River Road, Justin Muth.
We will see you all on Tuesday. Let's beat the Dolphins.
Go Niners.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the way you